All right, what's going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of Expanding Culture with Kilo on the regular network. I got some very, very special guests with me today. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'll start. Well, ladies first. Go ahead, Gwen.
I'm Gwen Witherspoon. I'm the executive editor of CALIBR magazine and a member of the National African American Gun Association.
And I am Phillip Smith. I'm the national president and founder of the National African American Gun Association. And we started back in 2015, and we have over about 40,000 members right now.
40,000. Wow.
40,000, over 40,000 members, over 120 chapters, and in 43 states. Let me help him out.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you, Gwen.
So where did you guys grow up at, or where are you from? And, you know, what were you into before you got into guns heavily?
Well, I'll start.
Go ahead, Gwen.
I was born in Columbus, Georgia, when my dad was stationed at Fort Benning. So I'm an Army brat. And my husband says I'm from nowhere. And that's pretty much true, because I did not grow up in Georgia at all. I went to, I lived on the, my memories, my best memories are on the East Coast in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area. And then my father got stationed for the second time in Anchorage, Alaska. So technically I am air quotes from Alaska. And I've always been a creative. When I was a little girl, all I wanted to be was an artist. And somebody came along one day and said, you don't want to just be any artist, you want to be a commercial artist because they make money. And I said, oh, okay, that's what I want to be. So I went to college and I became that, and have spent over 30 years, the last 30 years in every marketing communications discipline. I have my own branding agency now. And I now have the pleasure of having NAGA hire our agency to publish CALIBR magazine. But I didn't, even though my father was in the Army, I knew nothing about guns, was not interested in guns, have not been exposed to guns at any level. And so my husband is the one who dragged me to a NAGA meeting. but I was so impressed with the organization, and I loved learning about the tradition of arms. And so then I just overnight became a proponent of firearms ownership for African Americans. I called all my girlfriends and invited them to the Ladies' Day that is held monthly at the local chapter here. And 8 of them came with me, and it was just a blast. And so now I still consider myself a newbie to firearms, and I'm beyond excited to learn all this stuff about the Second Amendment and all the things all the different ways that you can exercise your Second Amendment rights, and recreation, survival, food, everything. So it's been, it's been it is a really fun journey.
Nice. What about you, Mr. Phillip?
Yeah, I didn't come from a background for firearms at all. Typically, I come from a family of 5 kids, mother and father. And I was born and raised in Vallejo, California, Northern Cal, 50 miles north of Clinton. So, we didn't talk about girls. I talked about guns. I talked about girls and talked about wanting to get a big fro like Michael Jackson, and I wanted to be a basketball player and all that good stuff. But guns just weren't in the equation. That changed in 2002 when I moved to Georgia, and this was inundated with really good folks that surprisingly owned guns. I see my dentist, he had a gun. I see my attorney, or I see a CPA, or would run into friends and colleagues that I worked with, and they would all be talking about how they went to the range and they would shoot over the weekend. And that was just really surprising, especially coming from California, where I'm not gonna say it's an anti-gun state, but it's a strong sentiment where they really try to discourage individuals and citizens to own a gun. And Georgia's just the opposite. They really encourage you to be self-reliant and be able to protect yourself, and just to have a level of self-defense that you aren't afforded in California. So I think 13 years of that, from 2002 to 2015, really changed my mindset and really opened me up to finally go to a range. And when I finally did go to the range, it was really rewarding. I enjoyed it. I felt empowered. And that's when the light bulb went on. And I said, if I can have fun as an unexperienced African-American male, I'm sure other Black men and women across the country, if I provided an organization that was a bridge from being uninformed to being trained, they would take that walk across the bridge. And that's when I set up NAGA. And It has grown from myself to well over 40,000 members now all over the country. It's a full, well-oiled machine. There's thousands of folks that make this machine work. It's not me. It's a we thing, not a me thing. And myself and Gwen, we're just part of that big ride.
Yeah. Did you say what year you started NAGA? I didn't hear you. What year was
Yeah,
that?
I started February 28th in 2015 in honor of Black History Month.
Okay, so you're coming on. You just completed the seventh year, full year.
That's correct.
Of that's pretty big. 40,000 plus in 7 years is a lot of growth.
Thank you.
It's a lot. That's nice. Okay, so what were you doing before you got into this? What professionally, what were you doing?
HR recruiter and HR consultant in Silicon Valley and the Bay Area for well over 18 years. And I mean, I loved a lot of money and did quite well, but it's one thing to make money for somebody else and just be part of that, 8 to 5 thing. But it's another thing to go about and develop something that's going to help your community and more specifically help Black people across the country at an intimate level. Because I believe, and this is my own sense, when you teach an African American how to shoot, you're intimately providing value to that person's life, even if they don't really realize, because you're teaching them how to live. If someone were to break in their house, they now have an opportunity. That's not a guarantee. I want to stress that, an opportunity to protect themselves. So learning how to shoot the gun provides a baseline of security and safety that our members really enjoy and really grow to appreciate.
Okay, so is the NAGA more of a training organization or an advocacy, both, or how would you describe it?
Well, from my perspective, we are at our core a training and safety organization. We teach folks how to shoot a gun. That's how we're built. We're very, very good at teaching African Americans across this country and others who want to join how to shoot a gun, how to load a gun, what gun is best for them based on their size, their weight, all that good stuff. But in the same breath, we do not advocate a political perspective. In other words, we're not Republicans, we're not Democrats, because we have all that in our organization, but we will advocate positions that are supportive of the Second Amendment. And we do that pretty consistently. And it's a very tight wire that we have to walk. I'll give you an example. When Philando Castile was shot, we believe that was not only a social injustice, but we feel it was an infringement on his Second Amendment rights. When Ahmaud Arbery was jogging on a Sunday looking at houses and was attacked, we believe that was a social injustice that was done to him. So we spoke on that. So are we political? Yes and no, but we don't speak about a certain political perspective or politicians. We will not back a politician, but we do back policy. Okay,
so then that'll lead me right into, I guess we want to break down this misconception that is you guys are the Black NRA. What's the difference between NAGA and the NRA? I'm sorry, you broke up for a second. I didn't hear you.
Heartfelt response. Okay, I'm sorry. My response is the following. The NRA, I can't speak to them, but I can say what we're about. We're about training African American folks to learn how to shoot and learn all the basic fundamentals. That's what both organizations are relatively the same. What sets us apart from any other organization in the world, I might add, is that we have a process called the NMOC, the New Members Orientation Class. And in that class, you learn about the Black history of arms. You learn about the Tuskegee Airmen. You learn about the Buffalo Soldiers. You learn about Bass Reeves. You learn about Harriet Tubman, the Black Panthers of Self-Defense. You learn about the Deacons of Defense. You learn about all those African Americans that have came before you, and in a lot of cases, given their lives so that you and I can have this conversation today. That's the difference. And when you leave that class, does it make you a historian? No, but you certainly understand the enormity, the level of responsibility you have as a Black person when it comes to owning a gun. We are about making the consciousness of African Americans across this country to be rattled, to be awoken. You've heard the term in certain circles, that person is woke. Well, we wake people up when they come to the National African Gun Association in a very positive, enlightening and supportive way, where you understand that you are part of a bigger family, you're part of a bigger history, you're part of a bigger circle that has came before you, and that you, when you're walking, those shoes have been filled by someone else that has came before you. Just happen to be going in the same direction, and you should be proud of that. That's the difference. When you join other organizations, they're going to teach you how to shoot. Mm-hmm. They're going to teach you what gun to buy, what caliber, and all that good stuff, but they will not tell you about your history, specifically African American history in this country as it relates to firearms. That's the difference between us and the NRA or any other organization.
And I have to say that that is the first meeting that I went to with my husband. He took me to a meeting, and it just happened to be the day that NMOC was being held at the Bass Reeves chapter in Atlanta. And I cannot say enough about how that entire presentation impacted me. And I mean, at the time, my niece was 16 years old. I called my sister. I was like, you need to take her to the range. You need to. And I felt that way primarily because I felt like this was information and a skill set that also would help her just to be more comfortable and more confident and to have more agency about herself. So I felt like it was so important for us as African Americans to introduce our children, not only just to go ourselves, but to introduce our children. And correct. So NMOC did that for me.
Yeah, and Gwen is so on point. What she has just said is the exact sentiment and feeling that thousands of African Americans have when they leave that NMOC. They're saying stuff like, I didn't know that. That makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. I don't have that stigma that's been placed on in our community. It's been waived now that I know. And information is powerful. When you inform somebody on the way Gwen was informed, it changed her perspective. It gave her a new direction on how she sees things. And I think it carries over even to today. So the NMOC is a difference maker. And I encourage you, even if you don't join the organization, to participate in it.
Oh, so you can go to a class without being a part of NAGA?
Well, we encourage you to join the organization, but I will say this. If you want to attend one of our NMOCs and you are not a member, I don't think you're going to get pushed away, because it's learning about history. It's learning about our people. It's educating you on facts that you didn't know about Harriet Tubman, the shotgun that she utilized to emancipate thousands and thousands or hundreds of slaves. You learn about Nat Turner, how he utilized the firearm to try to free himself. He died in the process, but at least he tried because he had a firearm. Right. So it's very, very powerful.
Nice. I heard Gwen mention the Bass Reeves chapter. Is that how chapters are named, after legendary Black figures from history? Or is it just the Atlanta chapter?
We encourage that. No, we encourage that you, when you start a chapter, that you try to sit back and not just throw a name out there that's cool and trendy, that you have thought about it. And we encourage someone to start a chapter named after a historical person in the African American community. You don't have to, but it's certainly something that we applaud if you're able to really do your homework and find something that is, really connected to our community historically.
I like that.
Well, and let me say this too about those names. So Phil calls NAGA the most unique brotherhood and sisterhood in the firearms industry. And when you see the names of all these chapters, like the roll call, I was on the team that was planning our convention before it got canceled, before COVID. And we were looking at all the names of the chapters across the country, and we just got more and more excited. We're like, all we could see was all these people coming through the doors, rocking their gear, repping their club, and all those names and learning the history. Yeah. That's a special kind of fun.
Nice.
It's a beautiful, and Gwen is right. It's a beautiful moment. It's beautiful. It makes you feel very, very proud as an African American when you see that happening.
It is pretty cool. It is very cool. I think I heard of NAGA. I feel like I heard of it when it first started, because right. I looked it up and I realized that it wasn't just some big gun club that would let everybody in. And I realized that I needed to get my credentials in order just to be even associated, because it's an official organization. It's not just a free-for-all of, hey, we just need a bunch of people, so just come be a part of our ranks. Yeah. It's really a serious situation. And it's good because I kind of forgot about it, and I didn't realize that it was still growing so large until I saw the CALIBR magazine pop up somewhere. And I was like, oh, I have heard of this, right? as far as membership goes, how does a person become a member of NAGA, and are you guys always accepting new members?
We're always accepting new members. It's very easy. Go to our website, www.naaga.co, and you can simply click on memberships, click on it, and it gives you 3 options, and just typically join, single, couple, or family, and or single or couple, and just join, and it's very, very easy. I want to add, and I hope you ask about this at some point, about CALIBR magazine, because CALIBR magazine has been a definite difference maker for the organization. It has allowed people to see us in a different light. And behind all that, the genius behind that is Gwen. She has been a godsend to the organization because she's very creative. She had a vision of how she wanted to present it. Even I was kind of looking at me, and she hit me over the head and made me think right.
Wait, it took 4 years. So he was looking at me sideways for a good long time.
A lot of scar tissue. You see the scar tissue?
That was my next question, actually. So as you guys were going through the process of running NAGA, what made you say, let's come up with this magazine, this publication?
Yeah, well, so I told you my husband dragged me to a meeting. I mean, he didn't have to do too much convincing. He was just like, oh, we're going to this meeting. And so I showed up, and then the NMOC, it was the same day for that. And the first thing we told Phil when we met him was NAGA needs its own magazine. And so my husband, he was a U.S. Army photojournalist. So he is a veteran of war. And I told you, I started out as a graphic designer and spent most of my career in every possible marketing communications discipline. And so we're just creatives, and we just saw the opportunity immediately for an organization with that kind of strength, with that kind of stability. It was you just had such a sense of stability when you walked through the door, and that everything was just so well done. And we just thought NAGA needs a magazine. But it did take over 4 years to convince Phil that we were right. And then
he was right.
Right. So once we started having that conversation last year, by that time, though, I felt like that there was a better strategy, that we want to talk about we want to tell the stories that are important to the members of the organization, but we felt like we had an opportunity to not just talk about NAGA business and just focus it on members of the organization, but that we could reach a much broader audience of African Americans who might be interested. So Pew Research did a study back in 2017 of gun ownership, and they said 50% of Americans who don't own guns said that they would be willing to purchase guns. And for us in the African American community, that represents about 17 million people. And so we felt like, because most of the members of NAGA are new gun owners, about 70% of the organization, we felt like that made more sense, that NAGA could have a greater role in helping African Americans to take advantage of their Second Amendment rights by launching a magazine that spoke to the community in general. And so that's the strategy for CALIBR. So as the NAGA membership is our foundation. So as if you are a member of the organization, you got the first copy for free, but you get free access also to our CALIBR community and to CALIBR Digital. So we love to say it's not just a magazine subscription, it is a community. And so when you join the community itself, that's how you get the print subscription. And then you have access, because we are all busy and some people like to consume their content in different ways. So we are also doing a digital version on the website. So that we actually launched 3 platforms. We launched the print magazine, we launched the website, which is CALIBR Digital, and then we launched the community itself. And I like to say the magazine is where we tell your stories. We tell our stories. The CALIBR Digital is where you get more of the story. And then CALIBR Community is where you share your story. And the content is related, but it's not the same on all the platforms. So if you say, well, I don't want the print magazine, you can certainly subscribe to the digital, but you're not going to get exactly the same stories in digital. If you say, I'm not interested in any of those other platforms, I just want to be in the community, that's great. You're going to get content, everything that's applicable for that environment and that platform, but you're not going to get the stories that are online and that are also, so when you subscribe, that $129.99 a year gets you access to all of it. And so we're beyond excited about it, and we're overwhelmed by the response that we've gotten so far. People are having a visceral response to seeing themselves and I love to say it's 68 pages and 66 of them are all Black folks. And that's pretty exciting. And we just want to tell our stories and celebrate Black life. The theme is that CALIBR is the magazine for Black life and protection. And we just want to celebrate, inspire, just and help us to get have greater experiences, to learn, to have stronger relationships. It's exciting because in the community you get connected with people across the country that care about the same things that you care about, and it's nothing but a party. It's so much fun to see everybody in. And when they started getting their magazines, that was the other thing that was so funny. They were posting pictures of the magazine with their guns in the community. Like it was just all kinds of fun. So we're getting ready to host our first private event inside of the community, and it's going to be a virtual block party. And also there's so many benefits to joining the community. I always forget the list, but we're building an on-demand training libraries. So in addition to, like, when you join NAGA has a membership portal with over 350 videos, training, all kinds of stuff in there. And then inside of CALIBR community, we also will have a training library, but it's going to be really simple, like basic, easy to consume little courses we're partnering with certified firearms instructors to help develop those. We'll do private events. I mean, just so many different reasons to join, but more than anything, it's the first time we've had a space like this dedicated to the African-American 2A community. And the first time in the history of time that we've ever had a publication like this dedicated to African-Americans. And so we are beyond ecstatic about the opportunity to do it. And the fact that Phil finally saw we were right. And that's it.
That's my favorite part of it, because it immediately struck me that I can't think of any other magazine, Black gun magazine ever. I'm not that old, but I still couldn't remember hearing about one, or I've never heard of it. So it immediately struck me and I started researching. I'm like, wait, this is connected to that organization that I heard about some years ago. Yeah. And then I said I had to reach out immediately because I know this is about to blow up and you guys will be way too busy to do interviews on Zoom. So I had to reach out immediately. But you said something that made me think about the fact that you had the foresight to say, I don't want to start this magazine independent of an established institution like NAGA. You wanted to make sure that NAGA was on board with it, because you could have just went and done it. You said you tried to convince him for years, but you could have went and done it, but it might not have felt the same as partnering up with an organization that has 40,000 plus members with a baked in infrastructure already. Right. So it makes sense. So what gave you the foresight to say, I want to work this system to put it out this way?
Well, let me tell you what we do is we build brands. Like I have my own branding agency I mentioned, so it's called Adam Red. And at Adam Red, we build brands, period. And we help other people. Like I almost feel like I'm an interpreter of dreams. And so I can look at somebody else. I'm like a moth to a flame. You share with me an idea, I start seeing all these ways to make it work. And so Phil had such a great foundation with the organization out the gate. So it was just apparent that was something that would benefit the organization. And I always tell him, so there's so many special things about this magazine, but one of the biggest issues is we built this entire thing, like from when he said yes, we built the entire thing from scratch in less than 90 days, like everything about it.
Incredible. It usually takes 2 years of planning. Gwen and Ron did that in 3 months, which I still can't believe. That's miraculous.
Well, and what's hilarious is as soon as the artwork went to the printer, Phil said, it's at the printer. I said, yeah. He said, you mean it's on time? I said, yes, on time. And he said, I gotta admit it. I didn't believe you could do it. And then after it started shipping to everybody, he told me 10 out of 10 people on the executive team didn't think I could do it. So,
Wow.
so
And
you know,
here's the beauty. I want to toot Gwen's horn for a moment here, because she's being far too modest. She is one of the most incredibly gifted people that we have I've ever ran into. She's extremely intuitive, very, very good at understanding what you need, even though you don't know you need it. And that's what she saw within the organization. And that's why I love her to death. You know, we fuss and we fight, but end of the day, I know she's got the back of the organization and she knows what's best for all of us. And I want to say this, and I'll be quiet. The nuanced importance of the magazine is not so much that it is a magazine for gun owners, but it's a magazine for all walks of life. If you were into camping, if you're into hiking, if you're into archery, if you're into swimming, any outdoor activity, if you're an African American, this is the magazine you can really read, enjoy. If you like food, travel trends, travel tips, Gwen has integrated all those topics and really just wove a really interesting story that you want to be a part of as a person getting the book. And I'm a fan of the magazine, taking myself outside of being the president of the organization, because the magazine is that well written. And I think she needs to really be given kudos for putting it together in such a format.
Yeah, it does. It looks amazing. The magazine.
But let me tell you this too. So I got to toot his horn back. So when you talked about and partnering with an organization, we're always going to go further together. We're always going to be able to do more, earn more. There's plenty for everybody. And so one of the reasons that we were able to pull this off in such a short period of time was also because of the foundation that Phil and the executive team and the leaders across the country, the work that they've been doing for 6 years, because at that point, it was 6 years. And so because of what they had been doing, they had been cultivating relationships with companies in the firearms industry for all those years. And so the magazine was a tangible thing that they could say yes to, and then they could step into a different level of partnership. And so far, every one of our advertisers has basically come on board with that attitude. Their attitude is they want to help strengthen the organization. They want to help reach African Americans. And, and we know there were, before this, there were very few and far between ads that had African Americans in them from these companies, and they all recognized that. And so the idea also that they stepped in immediately and said, yes, that's huge testament to the work that NAGA and Phil and the executive team and the leaders across the country have been doing for all these years. So it just made more sense, right? Like I didn't have any interest in doing the magazine apart from the organization, because what I do is I support and build other people's visions and dreams. And it's what I just feel like I'm gifted to do what I enjoy doing. I enjoy building in partnership and as a team. And it was, to me, is the only way to get it done. But it's been amazing, the response and everything. But it's all because of those elements together. It wasn't one person, one group, it was all of us doing it together.
Yeah, I feel like, Gwen, me and you have like a similar mindset when it comes to things, because I started this network because I feel like I'm more production minded. I want to get away from the camera. I'm trying to sign people and help them build what they have going on, because my mind works like that. When I see other people doing things, I'm like, I know a way we can make it look better.
Yeah.
Make it grow better. But you answered the question kind of without me before I could even ask it. I was going to ask, normally when you see a lack of Black people in certain spaces, is because of the network, the good old boys club thing that's hindering them from growing and being successful and things like that. But you said advertisers were on board. I was going to ask you, as a Black gun magazine company, were you guys having an issue getting advertisement? Because that's how you really run these type of businesses. A publication, you need ads. But you said that they are willing. And
no, we had such a short period of time. Like the first advertiser meeting, the first presentation was not until the end of September, the very first one. Yeah. So part of it wasn't so much that people were saying no, it was just, we just didn't have the time to get to them to even ask, And so it really is a testament to the 7 we started out with, who said yes before there was anything other than a presentation and an idea. And so, but I believe that's because of the work that Phil and the team have been doing all those years. So they were watching and they saw it something valuable in the work that they had been already doing. So to step up and say, yeah, we want to come in on this magazine, it was an easier decision for them to make. And so, and at this point, we're so busy getting the work done and making it happen, getting the next issue done and trying to provide the best value inside the community and online and everything. Like, we're so focused on that, we don't have time to even be concerned about anybody who's not supporting us. It's just, we feel like we're getting more yeses. I mean, it's almost been predominantly yes. Like there's actually been no one who said no. There may have been some who said, we're not gonna come in just now or yet. But it's been amazing, and they've just really stepped up. And we had the one recently, they even just stated, they said, yeah, we're going to advertise, but we don't have any Black people in our ads. So they had to go get some ads. And I chuckled to myself when we first started, because I thought I could imagine these executives sitting around the tables going, where are we going to get some Black people? But no, they've been really great. And they've all really said, anything you need. And so at this point, whatever we don't have is because we just haven't had time to slow down enough to say, hey, can you help us with X? Because they've all stepped in and said they want to be partners. And that's really been wonderful.
That's great, because people need to hear.
Also,
Okay.
my 2 cents. Gwen really points out that when we're talking to those advertisers, she let them know we have value. We're not coming to the table as it was as previous years, just kind of a handout. We have an organization that is behind us that can validate you putting your money into the magazine. And that's the thing what really makes me feel good, as the president and working with Gwen. When we talk, we're talking from a point of strength. We're just not saying, there's 4 or 5 guys over here that want to support you. We have some numbers. And I think that is the big difference maker, for our organization.
Yeah, I like that. And more people need to hear about success like that, because that is a daunting task for a lot of people to figure out how to get advertisers. And Phil just answered it by saying we had strength behind us already. We can move the needle with just the people we have now, not to mention the type of growth. Because when you talk about 40,000, there's 40 million here in just this country. If you want to expand to Canada, there's a whole lot of Black people there. There's a lot of Black people everywhere. Right. So this can become a multinational global organization. 40,000 is the beginning, honestly, because with a 7-year-old organization, that type of growth just says where you guys plan to go is just astronomical, really. So people need to hear about, okay, this is how you get advertisers. You need to have something to offer, because I feel like for too long, it's weird how everybody understands that Black consumerism drives so much economic growth everywhere. But when it comes to advertisement dollars, they feel like they don't want to really spend it on us, even though we buy so much, which is strange. Right. So it's good that you guys are like, hey, no, we have something, and they want to advertise with us. And they're actually going to tailor ads for our publication specifically too. They're not just going to throw us some old ads that they made in 2016 and tell us to go ahead with that, So that's a great, like, this is the great beginning of something like that I'm fully standing behind. How can new customers subscribe to the magazine, or do they need to be a member, or can anybody subscribe?
I'll answer that. So you do not have to be a member of the organization, but if you do join NAGA, you'll get the first issue for free. You'll get discounted subscription for the other three issues, because it's a quarterly. You'll get access to the community and to digital at no extra charge. And but if you're not a member, you can join the organization, join CALIBR community, and get the print subscription and everything else as well for $29.99 a year. So basically, as a NAGA member, you save on that. And anybody can join, but you can visit introducing.calibrmag.com. I'll put the link in the chat so you can share it with your audience. But CALIBR is spelled without an E intentionally, CALIBRMAG.com. So we have a landing page at introducing.calibrmag.com. You join there, and that'll get you access to everything. And we'll be looking for you in the community, and you will be greeted.
Is CALIBR an acronym? When you say intentionally, is that?
It is not an acronym. We just liked it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I like it too. I just wanted to make sure.
Right. We just liked it. Me and somebody else asked the same thing. And, it's so funny. Social media is hilarious. So we were looking on Facebook on the NAGA national channels, and people were talking about somebody said, it makes us look stupid because we left the E out. Like, a lot of modern magazines, take out vowels and all of that. And we just liked the way it looked. And that was literally the only reason.
Exactly.
It looks good to me too. I like how it looks like that. CALIBR. Okay.
Right.
I like that. I love what's going on. Okay, so I guess this could be for both of you or just Phil. What are some common misconceptions that you see around gun ownership in the Black community? What do you hear?
That we're monolithic. We are all the same. We all come because we are mad at some group of people, and we all want to grab our guns and go shoot people. African Americans are very, very sophisticated. We're coming to purchase guns for many, many reasons. Some women come to us because they've been, unfortunately, experiencing domestic violence. Some do it because they want to shoot competitively and everything's great in their life. Some men want to join, and women, because they want to skeet shoot. All the reasons why people are joining are different. And I think that's one of the biggest, quote unquote, misconceptions that the general public has when it comes to African American owners, that we have one lane that we're walking together. We have different lanes, different motivations. Me personally, I like shooting skeet. I'm an old guy. I don't like moving around a lot. So I want to sit in one place and pull the trigger. And it just varies. And I think that's a healthy thing. That's normal. And I just want people to know that we're very, very different. Gwen might have her motivations to shoot. I have mine. And I think the organization is better when people can be who they want to be, relax, and just enjoy the interaction that you have, and shoot and be very, very happy about that.
Nice. Gwen, have you heard any misconceptions that you would like to clear up, or you would like to have cleared up?
Well, I can only just kind of ditto what Phil said. I think more than anything, one of the things we're dealing with the magazine is we're not buying guns only because of white people. Like, because in the media, most of the time it's going to be in response to white nationalism, or some other social issue, or some big thing that's going on in the news. And so we are, especially the more we learn as an editorial team. And I didn't mention, I have an associate editor, Sandra Stevens in California, and a digital editor, Janice Stevens in Las Vegas. And all of us are new to firearms. And Janice just joined NAGA last November, and we're out here learning so much about just firearms ownership in general, all the different things you can do. And Phil has mentioned some of that. And I think what we're trying to do in the magazine is just really tell our stories for real, introduce you to real people. And Phil mentioned, from different walks of life, and we all have different motivations and different interests. And so we're not just showing you pictures of Black people with guns, but though we feel that is super important because our images have been demonized. It's like, if you see Black people with guns, it's usually in some negative situation. And so we're not denying that there's violence in Black communities across the country, but we're not more violent than anyone else. And we shoot to hunt, we shoot to live, to survive, we shoot for competition, we shoot for fun, we're collectors, we're law enforcement, we are involved in every aspect of American life. We are whole human beings. And it's just, we want to show that. We want to, and not because we're trying to convince anybody, it's just, we just want to tell the stories that are really out here.
Yeah, you're not trying to, but I feel like we do need to convince ourselves, though, that it is normal, because a lot of us will look at other us and still see that criminal thing when we see guns.
Right. Oh, because we're all drinking the same Kool-Aid.
It's conditioning, yeah.
Like we're being conditioned. We're seeing that over and over and over again. And so we just really want to just be, I have a hard time saying I want to change the narrative, or because that's not my job. I can't change somebody else's talking points and but I just want to be a voice out there telling my story, right? Telling the stories of other people that look like me, live like me. And that doesn't mean that all we care about is Black people and we're against everyone else. It just means I'm just as excited about who I am as you are about who you are, no matter what. And so that's really what we're doing, is we want to just tell our own stories and do it in the most, with the most integrity. And my husband is adamant, I think probably before I started talking about a magazine, and he was talking about building a library of images. So as a photographer, we get tired of doing stock image searches for firearms instructors, and and you don't even see a gun being held by a Black hand. So so we love the opportunity to do that, to just take pictures and to share stories and show families and fathers, and it's just that's the treat. And we are living this amazing life as we are going out and meeting NAGA members across the country, meeting people in all walks of life across the country and listening to their stories. And so we're doing the best we can to tell those stories with the most integrity. And the biggest compliment we've gotten so far was from Frederick Thrasher, the father of the Survival Sisters who are on the cover of our premiere issue. He said, "You all have done my family justice." And that's what we're trying to do.
That's amazing. And I was just, because I did some time in the Navy and I was in Afghanistan. I was just like 3 days ago looking at the pictures I took when I was in Afghanistan. So when you say your husband was a combat photographer, I'm like, I know that the type of pictures he probably has are like, that's what I'm into. I just love everything creative. So to have pictures in boots on ground territory, like I hope that I can see him one day. If your husband will share him with the world, I want to see him. But yeah, that's amazing.
You don't know what he just said, right, Phil?
You opened up a can right there, brother.
I love those. Hopefully, maybe we can interview him next, because that's my interest, really, photography. Even I worked on a school yearbook back in high school. Like I love images.
Yeah, I was in yearbook too.
See?
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, I love that. I'm glad that that's the misconception that kind of both of y'all wanted to break down, because the idea is that even when you go looking at slavery and all that, like if Black people have weaponry, they'll be able to defend against what we want to do to them. Or even if us as Black people don't want to do anything like that, it's just you have to put it out there so that when you talk about people who are killed by police, once people find out they had a gun, it's kind of like, oh, okay, we understand why the police killed them. When honestly, that's not a crime to have a gun. But that's the first thing they say is like unarmed. Oh, if he was unarmed, it was wrong. But if he was armed, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't understand that. Why is because he was armed, is that the justification? You're allowed to be armed if we are Americans. We are Americans, aren't we?
Yes.
So why is armed or unarmed the thing that they use in the headlines to say whether if it was a good killing or not? I just don't understand that. But the more we get these magazines out there, the bigger NAGA grows. This whole armed versus unarmed thing won't be a justification anymore, because we can be armed. You can be armed. We don't need to see any more Philando Castile situations. Actually, we should be armed, just living in the country. But if you do it for hobby purposes, some people like the flashy guns, and that should be their right to do. They shouldn't have to worry about, oh, this person's going to see me as a criminal because I like a gold 50 caliber, judge on my side or whatever,
Right.
So,
and you've touched on something else I don't know that we've spoken specifically to, but that's the other piece of it is we could not have launched CALIBR magazine and just been a magazine that talked about guns and Black people. When you talk about Black people and guns, you have to share more of the story. So that's why we focused on the firearms lifestyle of African Americans and why we cover firearms, family, business, and politics, because you can't, because there's so much that goes with that, whether it's conscious or unconscious, inside and outside of our community. So we can't, you just can't do it the same way. It's not just about the tool itself. And so there's plenty of magazines in the marketplace that just do that. But we're the only ones that are addressing just us as African Americans in this country with the Second Amendment rights as full citizens, as whole human beings, and sharing all aspects of our life. We're the only ones doing that.
You are. We can say that with confidence, I would say. It's but are there any Black-owned gun ranges you guys know about that you can recommend to people, and we can start?
There are a few throughout the country. Probably one of the most popular ones, and I always like to shout them out because they are a very big supporter of the organization, is Geneva and Jonathan Solomon in Burbank, California. Redstone Firearms, they have a range and a store, and they're one of the few African Americans owned companies that have that notation. But they have a range as well as a place to buy guns. For
is Redstone Black-owned?
Yeah,
Yes.
Redstone Firearms Black-owned. Yes,
I did not know that. I've been following them on Instagram for a while, and I didn't realize they were Black-owned.
Yes.
Wow. That's cool.
But there's others, like Wanda James is part owner in one, I don't know the names. Wait, we found out that Phil is a member of it and he didn't even realize it. He's in Colorado.
in Colorado, the Armory. I forgot the name of them, but they're
yeah.
They're going to shoot me.
I know.
Oops.
Yeah. But you know what? We're finding out as well, like while we're doing this work, we're finding out about more and more of them. And so in the second issue of CALIBR, we're going to be talking about some of that. I think we're kind of planning out, this is the little preview. We're kind of planning like a Black gun tour feature that kind of points out different gun ranges, hunting lodges, hunting clubs, all of those that are Black owned across the country. And one of the things we want to do with CALIBR is we also want to close the wealth gap. So whatever we can do to help, get the word out, even help Black folks get into businesses in the outdoor and the gun industry, we certainly want to do whatever we can to be a part of that and promoting what they're doing.
Nice. Yeah, I can't believe Redstone was Black-owned. I really didn't know that. Well, since we were talking about Black-owned, ranges and things, what's the importance of Black ownership in the gun industry? Because you don't see it a lot, or if it exists, you don't hear about it a lot.
Oh, this is his topic right here.
Oh, this you've got my blood curling now.
Okay.
And Gwen and I, we talk like brother and sister all the time, so she knows exactly what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it. If we fail to own anything, we will forever be consumers. We have to start taking ownership of land. We have to start taking ownership of the businesses that we go to. We have to start taking ownership of the products we're buying. I'll give you some basic common sense examples. Just imagine the chapter here in Atlanta or any place, New Jersey, California, that goes to a specific range where everyone's basically paying $50 every time they go to the range, and they bring 30 or 40 people. Now you times that per month, per year, you have money in the thousands and thousands of dollars that's going to someone that doesn't look like you. Now, I want to say this. It doesn't mean that particular range is a bad range. We have very good partners across the country, but it's critically important for us to own the property, the land, the product that we are purchasing. It's critically important because if you don't do that, you're forever going to be positioned in a place where you cannot have any leverage. If I go to my own range, and I can go to my own range, nobody's going to tell me when I have to leave. I can bring as many people as I want. I can bring Reggie, I can bring Gwen, I can bring all my friends and family, and we can shoot all day long. And it's been proven, and this is not even close, when you own the land that you shoot on, you develop better shooters over time because you can stay there longer to get better for your whole community. Yeah. That is critical. There are other communities out there that are doing it very, very quietly. There was another organization and another ethnic group that I won't mention that recently bought 1,500 acres in North Georgia. Wow. Now, I want you guys to imagine 1,500 acres. for 10 families. That's a lot. That's a lot of land.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a difference maker. You can really do some things with that.
Hmm.
So we have to start thinking. We have the same buying power as the people, but we have to make some decisions. Instead of buying that nice Mercedes that's gonna cost you about 80 or 90, or buying some chains, or buying some shoes that have somebody else's name on it, let's save that money for 2 or 3 years and buy that land so we can go ahead and I can call Gwen and Reggie and we all can go together and shoot at my range.
Right.
Let's do it like that. That's the thing. That's the next step in this whole process. We are waking ourselves with our consciousness. The next is, okay, what are we going to do with this new consciousness? Well, let's use our economic power together. And I mean together, collectively. Doesn't mean you love the person that you're standing next to, but you understand that together you have more benefits as a people and a community to buy land and products together. So I think we're starting to do that a little bit. We have some folks buying ammo together. I saw that. I got an email a couple of days ago. Some folks, I think they bought like $1,500 worth of ammo. That's a start.
Yeah.
How about everybody in NAGA bought their ammo on the same day from the same supplier? What kind of discount could we get?
Right.
It would be incredible. So
yeah.
But I can talk about this particular topic because it's a very, very sensitive one to me, because I think it is the underlying issue that we really have to start addressing as gun owners.
Yeah, I love the topic. And I'm heavy into the idea of manufacturing, because that's where the infrastructure really is. Because even if we own everything else, if we don't control the supply, we could be stuck without.
Yeah.
You know, and some of these they have, like, I think Daniel Defense down in South Georgia. You know, you got Glock manufacturing, you got all these things around, but we don't own any of them. So if somebody wanted to stop shipping things, you know, if something went crazy, do you know of any Black gun manufacturers? Do any exist? One
that I consider certified, validated, that I can speak on and for, and that is APO. That's oh my God, in
Ashbury.
Yeah,
Ashbury Precision Ordnance.
Yes.
Let me write that down.
They are an African-American owned organization, well-run machine. They're inundated with orders right now, like everyone else, so it might be difficult to get an order in, but they are African-American owned.
Where are they based out of?
I think Virginia. Is that
Ruckersville, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia.
Okay.
Yes.
I used to live in Virginia. I support Virginia, love Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specialize in precision rifles, don't they, Phil?
Yeah.
Phil has 2 of them.
Yes, I do.
And you have some.
He's a baller. Well, and on in CALIBR Digital, we have in the market, there's a post with Phil talking about how to choose a gun, and we've got a picture of him holding an Ashbury precision rifle. And then in the market, in the print and on the rifles page in the back in the market, there's also we have a picture of one of their rifles.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Go ahead and support those organizations that support us.
Right. And
they've definitely been instrumental in helping us. Gwen and I and NAGA do a lot of good things on the background, as well as, you know, organizations that are advertisers that are investing in our community and see the value. I mean, when I talk about Daniel Defense, I can speak to that, or anybody, any of the other advertisers that we have, Smith and Wesson, Magpool, you know, Walters, all those folks that have said, you know what, we believe in what you're doing, we believe in what you're saying, and we're gonna put our money behind our mouth.
Yeah,
to me,
we might as well shout the rest of them out. We have federal and Remington Ammunition.
Yes.
USCCA, and you mentioned Walther Arms. That should be 7. I hope it's 7.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my money up so I can get a Daniel Defense. I just love the stuff that they make.
Come on now. Well, now if you join the community and you become a gold ambassador just by inviting people to the community with you, you just might win a $5,000 Daniel Defense experience.
Whoa.
That part.
Yeah, I like what they got going on. So anybody you hear that, you know, become a gold member?
A gold, become a gold ambassador. And so when you join the community, you get a unique URL. So if you share that link with folks in your network and they join, we're able to track it automatically. And you just move up the ranks. You get bronze, silver, and gold, and you get rewarded every step of the way. And then once you get to 25, we're going to do And so right now we know we have the Daniel Defense experience, but we're going to be working on some others with our other advertisers as well. So yeah, there's prizes in your future.
That's amazing. I love like when businesses make sure they set up tiered systems like that too, like gold, you know, it's good. It's like a something to aspire to for members too.
Well, and people are so excited. They're sharing and they're jumping in without any incentives. And so it's really great to be able to offer them something, you know, in exchange. And I got to give another shout out for our block party. We're about to start promoting that in social media and everywhere. And that's going to be all kinds of fun. There may be a lip sync battle in our.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is a very informative. I don't have any more. Go ahead, Phil. I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Reggie. I'm sorry. Go ahead and close it out.
Okay,
he's trying to plan. He's trying to figure out what song he's going to perform for the lip sync battle.
Okay.
That's what he's doing.
Okay. So pretty much, I just want people to know how they can keep up with you guys' business, where they can go to find you. You know, I don't know if you want to give personal pages. If you do, we'll follow you there too. Personal page, business page, websites. Where can we find you guys?
Well, you can NAGA. So NAGA National, NAAGA National, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Anything else, Bill? I think that's it.
Before NAGA, it's www.n.co.
Yep, NAGA.co is the website. And then for CALIBR, it's CALIBR CALIBR Mag at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all the spots. And and then if you want to join the community and get your print magazine subscription, your digital subscription, and the community membership and all the stuff that comes with the community, that's introducing.calibrmag.com. And that's it.
Perfect. Right. I appreciate you guys a lot, man. I'm following and I love the movement. And man, if you know, hopefully we can get another one of these later on with the growth. You know, maybe we get an interview when we hit 100,000 members or something like that. You know, I feel like I want to become a gold ambassador, so I think I need to.
Come on, we need to do that.
Yeah, I need to put my hat in the ring because I want that Daniel Defense experience.
Yeah.
I didn't know if Phil was saying something.
Sure.
Phil, you're breaking up.
I just want to say thank you, man. If I get disconnected, I want to apologize in advance.
Okay, it's all good. I'm in the same area you guys are in. So if you know there's something going on, you need somebody to pull up with a camera, get some pictures, I will do it because, like I said, I love the movement y'all have going on.
Love it.
And I appreciate y'all. Thank you. That will conclude our interview with the special, very important guest of CALIBR Magazine and NAGA. Better than your average organization, I tell you that much.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thank y'all again.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right, bye-bye.